that were lost on his watch. Here with his reaction, Democratic Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York, joining us from D.C. today. Good morning to you, Congressman.
Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, thank you so much. The same to you. So what do you make of the fact that this AP fact-check group says that the president actually got it wrong with regard to the amount of jobs that he has created in the last 4 years?
Well, I think there have been more than 5 million private sector jobs that have been created, and there's no dispute that when the president took office, we were losing jobs, hundreds of thousands of jobs per month. At its worst point, the economy since the Great Depression. And as a result of the president's efforts and those of Congress, those in the private sector, Americans of entrepreneurship and ingenuity, we have begun to recover. Now, clearly, we're at a point where there's more that needs to be done, and I'm hopeful that the Congress will come together in a bipartisan fashion and do what's necessary to keep America moving forward.
One of the themes of his speech from Tuesday night was investments, way of saying spending or stimulus. It's interesting to look at the polls when you ask the American people whether or not they are concerned about the amount of money that we're spending as a government. Here's a recent poll by Fox News. Are you extremely concerned about government spending? 32% say yes. 31% say health care is a big concern. 30% say the economy, and 29% say education. So if so many people are concerned about government spending, is there a disconnect here between what the American people are thinking and the direction in which the president wants to take us?
Well, I don't think there's a disconnect. We have to invest in the economy in order to increase demand, which will generate additional revenue that can be used to help pay down the debt. Now, it's clear, and reasonable people on both sides of the aisle agree, we do have a long-term debt problem in this country. We have to be prepared to deal with the fact that if we lose our ability to borrow at affordable rates, then the problem that we have now will only grow worse. The way that that needs to happen is to make sure that investors continue to have confidence in the government's ability to deal with the economic problems that we have.
Well, what about cutting spending, though? I mean, it seems like we're dodging the bullet here to a certain extent. I mean, the National Taxpayers Union Foundation used the Congressional Budget Office figures after the speech Tuesday to say that all the programs that the president talked about Tuesday night would actually cost Americans $83.4 billion, even though the president said it would not cost us a dime.
Well, we have cut approximately $2.5 trillion from the deficit over the last several years. Now, we're not everywhere in terms of where we need to go. There's about another $1.5 trillion that the president would like to do, and I think Congress will work together to do that in a fair and balanced fashion. As it relates to the additional money that will cost the taxpayers, that all depends on whether you forecast economic growth. If the economy grows as a result of investment, generates additional revenue, the American people will benefit.
Let's hope it's better than the last GDP number. There was no growth. Let's talk a little bit about Dr. Carlson. He spoke at the National Prayer Breakfast last week. There he is right there, a prominent neurosurgeon in the D.C. area. Democrats and some conservatives, quite frankly, were upset with him talking about flat tax reform and that sort of thing during the prayer breakfast. Why, for the most part, are Democrats, though, so unhappy with Dr. Carlson for speaking out?
Well, Dr. Carlson is a very accomplished individual, and I have no doubt that he's a deeply religious and spiritual man. The problem is that the forum that he chose was highly inappropriate to lecture the President of the United States and the leader of the free world at the National Prayer Breakfast. If we can't come together to pray for the nation and put partisan politics aside, when can we come together? And I think that is the reason why Americans on both the left and the right have expressed the problem.
You would have been okay with his message had it not been at the prayer breakfast?
Oh, absolutely. He has a First Amendment right, like every other American, to articulate his vision for what's the right thing to do for the American people. It shouldn't have been done at the National Prayer Breakfast.
All right, Congressman, always great to get your thoughts. Congressman Jeffries, thanks much.
Thank you.
Nearly half of married couples do it.